Early look at 2020's NFL free agent class. The biggest dominoes in free agency have fallen, which means fans around the league have already moved on to next year's offseason and the prospect of their favorite team snagging 2020's top players. Here, we'll go position by position, breaking down the best of those players set to hit the open market. This list does not include first-round picks from the 2016 draft, whose fifth-round options are likely to be picked up, for example Jared Goff, Carson Wentz, Ezekiel Elliott, D. DeMarcus Lawrence Cowboys, D. Jadeveon Clowney Texans, D. Frank Clark Seahawks, D. T. Grady Jarrett Falcons. As we've seen in recent years, the franchise tag has the power to shape free agency like nothing else. Having been tagged in 2018 and 2019, Lawrence is inching toward his gigantic payday, whether it's from the Dallas Cowboys or a team on the open market. Realistically, although there has been little discussion regarding new contracts for any of the four, the deadline to extend tagged players is still months away, July 15th. Next year's free: Russell Wilson, Phillip Rivers, Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, Drew Brees, Marcus Mariota, Jameis Winston, Dak Prescott, Jacoby Brissett. Every so often in the NFL, the stars align to create a mirage in the free agent quarterback market. Next season is one. Sooner or later though, Wilson will re-sign on a deal that'll likely exceed Aaron Rodgers' $33.5 million a year pact. Brady and Brees: this means the market could be dominated by the 2015 draft's top two picks, Winston and Mariota. Neither quarterback: Melvin Gordon, Jordan Howard, Kenyon Drake, LeSean McCoy, Derrick Henry, Lamar Miller, Carlos Hyde, Chris Thompson, Frank Gore. The running back market is stocked full of capable starters who could be looking for new homes. Gordon will command. In the next tier are Howard, Drake, and Henry, who have all flashed as starters but have been too limited or inconsistent to secure a long-term lead back role. Teams will be in Michael Thomas, Tyreek Hill, A.J. Green. Thomas isn't leaving the New Orleans Saints, though negotiations could be complicated if Odell Beckham Jr. demands a from the Cleveland Browns. The same goes for it's hard to see Edelman in anything other than New England Patriots colors, but it's even more difficult to believe he'll be immune to Bill Belichick's ruthless approach to aging veterans. He and Sanders could: Rob Gronkowski, Eric Ebron, Jack Doyle, Vance McDonald, Hunter Henry, Vernon Davis, Austin Hooper, Kyle Rudolph, Charles Clay. Gronkowski isn't certain to return for 2019, let alone 2020. Hell, only the Colts duo of Ebron and Doyle should be sought after veteran options, especially the former if he can continue his breakout from 2018. McDonald, Jason Peters, Brian Bulaga, George Fant, Anthony Castonzo, Andrew Whitworth, Joe Staley, Darrell Williams. If you like geriatric tackles, 2020 could be the year for you. Peters, who will be Fant, and Williams, the latter of whom re-signed on a one-year deal with the Carolina Panthers, will likely be the most coveted tackles when it comes to long-term deals. Both will be 20. Guards: Brandon Scherf, Kyle Long, Marshall Yanda, Joe Thuney, Austin Blythe, Clint Bowling, Andres Pete. Centers: Mike Pouncey, J.C. Tretter, Cody Whitehair, Rodney Hudson, Ben Jones. Guard is one of 2020's most top-heavy markets. Scherf and Thuney, Tretter and Whitehair are solid players, and teams should be comfortable giving them long-term deals. Older veterans like Chris Jones, Leonard Williams, Jaron Reed, Marcel Darius, Michael Brockers, Mike Daniels, Michael Pierce, Derek Wolfe, Grady Jarrett. A lot of big men could earn big money in 2020. The defensive line: Williams, a former 6th overall pick, has lived up to expectations, but it's unclear if he's in the Jets' long-term plans considering the contract hell demand. The Seahawks are in Bobby Wagner, Deion Jones, Miles Jack, Joe Schobert, Shaq Thompson, Reggie Ragland, Danny Trevathan, Kyle Van Noy, Corey Littleton. No one was happier than Wagner after the New York Jets handed C.J. Mosley a deal worth. The other top options aren't as talented as Wagner but have youth and an abundance of athleticism on their side. Few linebackers: Yannick Ngaka, Dante Fowler Jr., Jerry Hughes, Jay Bailsherd, Whitney Markillis, Vic Beasley, Emmanuel Ogba, Robert Quinn, Demarcus Lawrence, Jadeveon Clowney, Frank Clark. The pass rusher market looks a lot less exciting if the three tagged edge defenders Lawrence, Clowney, Clark re-sign with their respective teams. Other than quarterback, Beasley and Fowler fall into the first category. The former has been Xavier Howard, Byron Jones, Chris Harris, Marcus Peters, Jimmy Smith, Aqib Talib, Joe Hayden, Kendall Fuller, Ronald Darby, Logan Ryan, Trey Waynes. This free agent class could be all about cornerbacks. No other position. If a team is looking for a savvy veteran, it doesn't get much better than Harris, Talib, Smith, and Hayden. The Denver Broncos: Devin McCourty, Kevin Byard, Rodney McLeod, DJ Swearinger. In 2018, free agent safeties struggled to get paid market value. Fast forward to McCourty is the biggest fish, but unlike this year's notable departures from the Patriots, Brown and Trey Flowers, he'll be exiting his prime. The fact he's one. Kickers: Justin Tucker, Greg Zuerlein, Adam Vinatieri, Aldrich Rosas, Jake Elliott, Kaimi Fairbairn. Punters: Matt Bosher, Rigoberto Sanchez, Tressway. Two GOATs, one in his prime and one at the end of his legendary career, headline the 2020 kicker class. However, the Baltimore Ravens aren't letting Tucker get close to the door and have the affordable franchise tag if they're unable to secure a deal. Vinatieri is all copyright 2019 Score Media Ventures Incorporated. All rights reserved. Related slideshow: biggest NFL combined busts of all time provided by Yard Barker.
Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park.